Today's lesson is over 10.4a, weighted voting system. So a weighted voting system is a system where there's weights to people's votes, right? An individual may have more than one vote and thus more power than another voter. It sounds unfair, but it's more in relation to businesses where there's stocks. Like for example, if there was 20,000 stocks, that were sold, so there's different 20,000 shares, right? And say you're a shareholder and have 1,500 shares, that would be equivalent to 1,500 votes, right? Now, quota is the minimum number of votes needed to pass a proposal, right? So generally, it's a majority, but it can change depending on different factors. Okay, so just a note on how these systems are going to be drawn, right? Normally, we're going to have different players in the system. So P1 would be the first player, generally has weight 1. Player 2, P sub 2 would have weight 2, and so on. And they'll put numbers there, right? They're not all variables. So in notation, for a system showing kind of what weight people have and what the quota is, it would look like this. For hard bracket, the first number is how many votes needed to pass. It's a quota. And then the largest number of shares is first. Then the second number, largest number of weights second, and so on, right? It keeps going down. So this first one is considered player 1, second one's considered player 2, and so on. So in an example just kind of made up, let's say that top one there was 20,000 shares, so the majority is 10,000, usually 10,001, but we'll just say 10,000 for now. And then I'm kind of made some numbers up here. We've got someone that got 9,000 shares, someone's got 5,000, 1,500. That's us, we have 1,500. Another person has 1,500, and there's 3 more that have 1,000 each, right? So these should all add up to our total, which is the 20,000, right? And this would just be another way to write a system, right? Kind of see we need 10,000 to pass, and some people have more power than others, and some people have less. Now, an example, we have a voting system has 4 players. Jane has 4 votes, Marilyn has 3, Ken has 2, and Stan has 1. A majority of 6 votes is needed to pass a proposal. Use notation to represent the voting system, right? So, again, the information we have here is Jane has 4 votes, so she'll be player 1, that's the most. Player 2 is Marilyn, because she's got 3 votes, and so on, right? Kent with 2, Stan with 1. They also said right up here the majority is 6 votes. So quota is 6. That's what this majority means. This majority up here stands for quota. So our system is going to be bracket 6 and then parentheses, or sorry, colon 4, comma 3, comma 2, comma 1, like this. That would be all you would need to write for the system. You don't need the names at all. Next, we're going to go over a couple different majorities in different types of systems and how we can have actors in our system, or whatever you want to call them, that some are unfair type systems and others are where someone might be useless. So starting off, simple majority, we went over this before, but it's more than half of the vote. So 50% is half. So we've got 2 situations. Generally, you just take the total and divide by 2. And we get 2 options, right? If you divide a number by 2, you're either going to get a half, in which case we need to round up. That's 0.2. If it's a half, we're rounding up. And that's it. That's a majority. If it's a good number, so say if it's 12 divided by 2 is 6, we take the good number and add 1 to it. That would make it 7 for the majority. Okay. A supermajority is the number of votes needed to pass a proposal in a system that requires more than just 50% plus of the votes. The most common supermajority required is 2/3. So to find 2/3, we do similar to the top, but instead of divide by 2, we're going to multiply by 2/3, right? By doing 2/3 of our number, right? To get it. So down here, it says the previous system, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, the one we just did last slide. What would be the simple majority? So you want to add them all up. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 10. Okay, in a simple majority, we're going to divide 10 by 2 and get 5. 5 going back up to that top. 5 is a nice number, right? Good number. So we just add 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6, and 6 is our simple majority. For a supermajority, we use this 10, but instead of divide by 2, we're going to multiply by 2/3. So 10 times 2/3 is the same thing as 10 times 2 divided by 3. So 20 divided by 3 is 6.6 repeating. So, like up here, right, we do the same idea for if it's a good number, plus 1. If it's a decimal, round up. So in this case, it's a decimal. We just need to round up. Well, that would make 7 would be a supermajority in this system. Now be aware these notes will be posted online in case I'm going a little too fast in class in the video. Now we've got some systems where we're going to have some different things like a dictator, a dummy, or someone who's powerless, right? So what is wrong with this voting system? We've got 12 is needed to pass. Someone has 14 votes and the rest are 5, 4, and 3, right? So the problem is this person, player 1, person 1 can pass no matter if anyone else votes. So that person has a majority by themselves. They have all the power. They can pass a proposal just by themselves. Now that situation means that person is considered a dictator. He's got all the power to pass a proposal, and he has at least, the rule for being a dictator is he have at least as many votes as the quota. So it's a number higher than our first number here. Now, just to go a little further, right, if we add up everyone else's votes, 5 plus 4 plus 3 is 9, 12, 9 plus 3, 12. They don't even have enough, right? Player 1 outweighs all those others together, okay? So 5 plus 4 plus 3 is still less than 14. Next, we've got a system of 10, 8, 5, 3, 1. What's wrong with this system? Okay. Now, if you look at the numbers quick here, 8 plus 5 is 13, 8 plus 3 is 11. Can these three pass without 8, right? 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 1 is 9. They can't pass without player 1. So player 2, 3, and 4 cannot even pass a proposal by themselves. Player 1 is needed to pass a proposal, right? So they call that veto power, right? He's got all the power in the voting system. He can single-handedly keep a proposal from passing with their vote, but he doesn't have a majority. So he's not a dictator because it's not over 10, but without 8, they can't pass, right? So if 8 voted no and these 3 voted yes, it still wouldn't pass, right? 8, 9, didn't work, right? They don't have enough to hit that 10 mark without 8. And the last person is this one here. We've got a system 12, and then we've got 8, 7, and 2. Now you notice 2 are pretty close to each other and 1 is very small, right? So what's wrong with this system? This 2 has no power. He's useless. 8 plus 2 can't pass. 7 plus 2 can't pass. So he can't help anyone pass, right? And that is why we would say he's a dummy player, right? That's not like saying he's not smart. It's just he doesn't have an effect on the system, right? So, again, just showing you quick, if we had all 3 of them together, we have 17, so it passes. Well, if we have just the first 2 without player 3, it still passes, so he didn't do anything to help, right? He can't help pass, and he can't prevent it from passing. So that wraps up today's lesson. Feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions.